Hello, it is I, Zandra Sunglin Burns, the witch, and this is my full moon in Scorpio ritual table. I wanted to share this with you because I am a productivity nerd and also a mystic with a Mars and Venus in Virgo. And so I love organizing things and setting my goals and tasks and projects in life, but also putting a witchy spin on it and inviting the divine to guide my plans. And that's why I've created this book, Lunar Logbook, where it's a planner that also has your space for your moon rituals as well, because I can't separate the two anymore. They have to inform the other. And as I was doing my own practice just now, 5 minutes ago, I thought this would be a great time to share with you an example of what that's like, because it's different every time. And that's part of the enjoyment of it. Where if you can get kind of stuck in I have to do this ritual every moon, then you're not really attuning to what's going on in the present moment, in the cosmos, or for yourself. So I want to give an example of how to adapt that and work with the energy without getting too stuck in the rigidity of a routine. So this is my full moon workbook. This is the bare bones structure of the different components that I want to note down every full moon. And the reason it's called Lunar Logbook is because it's a logbook of your personal data and storytelling, defining these chapters of your life. So I am not a professional astrologer, but I like to take in that information. And what I've noticed from years and years of this is that at the new moon and the full moon, the advice is often look back to what you were doing at the corresponding new moon. What were you doing at this full moon last year? And having that information stored as well as created helps me to put together that story of my life, because as much as I love doing things and taking the steps, it has to all be in the context of your soul's journey and what you really love and what lights you up. And so that brings me back to what I was saying about it having to feel fun and attuned to the present moment, is that I've created this in a wiggly way so that you don't have to fill it out in the same way every time. So this, for example, releasing and calling in, this is a standard recommended practice of what to do as the sky gets darker, as the moon wanes. What is going to sleep in your life? What is becoming quieter? What is becoming darker? That's what you're releasing. And then what is that making room for is what this calling in arrow is for. Now, sometimes I'll have really quick answers, and let me just adjust this. I wanted to show you my pretty table, but it's making me have to do this. Sometimes you'll have really clear answers of like, oh, I need to release this. And you can write it down in bullet point form. Other times I will just put a color in my collage process, like this. Woo! Or you can use colored pencils. You can draw a picture. And today I looked at that worksheet and was like, oh, I don't feel like answering questions right now. I don't feel like doing a journal prompt right now, which even I feel that way. And I love nothing more than a journal prompt. But you don't have to understand why, but just every full moon will be different. Every Scorpio full moon will be different based on what else is going on in the sky and what else is going on in your life. You might be traveling, you might be busy, you might be really not busy. And so let the rituals have a core to them, which is why I've created this worksheet. But the way that you fill it out can be different every time, and embrace that. So what I did this time was, for the ones that I didn't know how to answer, I just drew a Lioness Oracle card. This is one of my favorite decks. And I am also not a tarot expert. I am a magical time management witch. That is what I focus on. But then all these other modalities are things that I'm playing with. And I hope that gives you some confidence as well, is that you don't have to know everything about the tarot in order to play with it sometimes. But so I drew a card for my intention for the full moon. I drew a card for what I'm releasing and what I'm calling in. And then I like to have loose ends at the bottom of the worksheet. And the way that I treat this is, as the moon is waning, so are you. And so stop trying to do so much. It's certainly not the time to start new things. If only 5 things got done in the next 2 weeks of the waning moon, what are those 5 things? Everything else is extra and optional. It's an area to define that for yourself. And sometimes that's really obvious, like packing for a trip needs to happen. But sometimes you don't know. So like, I still have one left over. I'm not sure what that last item is going to be. But don't just put anything. You have to take a moment to really think about, what are you committing to? Because that's the step that often gets forgotten in productivity or in doing a Pomodoro, is there's a time to plan and decide, this is the action that I'm going to take. And then you're able to switch off the part of your brain that is like trying to make decisions for you while you're also trying to do the thing. So it's really important to take a few minutes and feel into the certainty of what tasks you're going to set for the waning moon. And remember that a to-do list is also a to-don't list of, it's actually just, it's not adding more things for you to do. It's acknowledging these are the things that already have to get done, and these are the most important ones. The rest are to-don'ts. That's how it wanted to come out today. But yeah, I wanted to give you this option of, if you're filling in a template, you can draw cards for them. And then another moon cycle, you might be like, oh, I don't feel like doing that. Then don't do it. This is merely an example. So I'll show you what it looks like, all filled in. These are my tarot cards. I'm also learning about the tarot for fun, because I have never done that properly, and I like to have things that I'm learning that have nothing to do with like supporting important parts of my work. These are it's not like required for me to know the tarot, but my friend gave me this book, and so I'm enjoying like trying to like learn it as well as just reading the booklet for each card and seeing what stands out to me. So that's a way of bringing in a hobby with my moon practice, which I highly recommend that you do. Bring the things that you're doing for fun and that are lovely and that you're obsessed with and enjoying into your lunar practice as well, because those are messages from the universe that are trying to guide you on your way. And speaking of which, how do you like my new jumper? This is the Roller Coaster Joy at Wallaby Holland. I finally got to ride it. Ride them as their two tracks, and those two tracks are these interweaving experiences called thrill and chill. And that's been a really fun thing to think about in my intentions. So my intention for the full moon, because full moon intentions are about winding down, rather than I'm gonna go do this. Everything's about let's close it down. So my intention, inspired by the hanged woman, is because like hanging upside down, because I'm me, it made me think of a roller coaster of like hang time. This is an inversion. And what do you do on an inversion? You just like, let gravity do its thing. So my intention is to surrender to the thrill and the chill. And so we need that balance, right? I've been enjoying this incredibly busy and exciting time just in this moon cycle alone over the last 2 weeks of projects amping up with my friends and collaborators and getting things going. And I'm having to also learn to chill in contrast to that. So I'm listening to my body, and sometimes I'm getting really into the flow of like making collages on Canva for my Psychic Circle event, which you're invited to. It's on May 21st. And I like don't notice that my body is like seized up from concentrating on that. I'm like, okay, I need to chill with some yoga or a bath or a walk or basking in the sun, because the sun is finally out in Scotland and I'm so grateful for that. So was there anything else I wanted to say? Yes. I've also been enjoying lately just graffitiing all over my lunar logbook, and when a little phrase stands out to me, whether it's from the guidebook or from Asking My Dreams on the Elsewhere app, which by the way, I use that every day to write down my dreams, and then you can ask your dreams for your own personal reading, based on, again, your own personal dreams that you have when you're asleep specifically. And when phrases stand out to me from that, I just write them in and write them into the margins and just let it all have be a stamp on this full moon cycle. So if you would like to order your own lunar logbook, you can do that at lunarlogbook.com, link in the description. And for the most part, I am publishing on Substack at zandrathewitch.substack.com. I'm popping up on video every now and then. Let me know if you have any questions about magical time management and lunar planning in particular, because I know I used to just do planning stuff here, and a lot of you are here for that. So thanks for bearing with me through all of the evolutions of self. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions or requests, and happy full moon. I will see you sometime. Bye.